Today we have our very friendly neighborhood Congress candidate, Doug Chapin, in studio, our first ever live studio guest. He's a longtime friend of the show. I was just chatting with him before we started. I think between he and his lovely partner, I think you've attended almost every single one of these since we started.
Yep.
So thank you so much for being here. You've recently been endorsed by the 6th Congressional District DFL. You are going to take it to Tom Emmer. You're
Yes,
going to
sir.
make sure that we're going to retire Tom Emmer, and you're going to go to Congress and be a check on President Trump. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Everybody, I know that you've been in this community for a long time, but people haven't been able to meet you.
Sure. Yeah. So I am, I'm a lawyer. I'm an educator. I'm a policy wonk. I spent almost 4 decades working in democracy and elections and politics and the law. Served on Capitol Hill as a lawyer to the Democrats on the Senate Rules Committee on elections issues. Worked with the Pew Charitable Trusts, expanding online voter registration and military and overseas voting. Spent 10 years at the University of Minnesota building out a program in election administration. I spent 40 years telling people I was an election geek, not a politician. And I was fully prepared to keep to that. And then the president pardoned the January 6th rioters last year. And I realized that after 40 years of making democracy better from the inside, I needed to get out in front and fight to defend it. So stepped into the ring, took on Tom Emmer, and here we are.
So the 6th District has been represented by Tom Emmer for years, who we've seen largely serving as President Trump's lapdog. He literally whips votes for every priority that President Trump has. Sometimes not very well, thankfully. Echoing his fear-mongering and division as majority whip. Why do you think it's time for Tom to retire, and what would it look like for Minnesota's 6th District to have a representative actually focused primarily on the constituents and on making life more affordable?
Yeah, I think one big reason, and before we even get to Emmer himself, I think that the Congress is broken. When something's broken, you hire somebody who knows how to fix it. Your pipes break, you hire a plumber. Your leg breaks, you hire a doctor. When Congress is broken, you hire a policy wonk. I firmly believe, as a lawyer, that the founders knew what they were doing when they put Congress first in the Constitution. It's Congress that raises money. It's Congress that spends money. It's Congress that makes decisions about policy. It's Congress that decides if, whether, and when we go to war. And this current Congress, as you mentioned, is nothing more than a rubber stamp, a lapdog, a cheering section for a president who wants to be a king. And Tom Emmer is the poster child for the broken Congress. Emmer, as majority whip, no one is a more really slavish, devoted follower of the president. Whatever the president says, Tom Emmer echoes. But on top of that, Emmer's just not good at his job as a member of Congress. One of the things we've heard, I've been traveling to the district for more than 14 months, is people feel like he's completely absent, that he's not here in the district. I firmly believe that to be a representative, you have to be present in the district. And whether it's town halls, whether it's showing up in the community, whether it's even just being present for folks on the floor, Emmer has failed miserably. Really seems to care more about the folks, the powerful folks in Washington, wealthy folks in Silicon Valley who sell cryptocurrency. If you've got big money, Tom Emmer's your friend. If you're a Minnesotan in the 6th District, Tom Emmer expects you to send him back to Congress and then really wants nothing more to do with you.
Absolutely. You've obviously had this long, really impressive career in protecting our democracy and reinforcing it. At this moment, when the number one issue we hear from Democrats is about democracy. And so tell us a little bit about what's inspiring you in this moment. What gives you hope that not only this election, but our shared future as a state and country can remain intact? This democracy we care so much about, we can save it.
Yeah, I have loved democracy since I was a kid. My dad was an engineer, and Dad had that gift that he could open up a machine and see how it worked and know how to fix it if it was broken. I didn't get that gift, but I had that same interest in government and politics and in democracy. And I think what inspires me about democracy is that despite the damage that politicians often try to do, democracy is resilient. We had a presidential election in this country when half the nation was in open armed rebellion in 1864. What I've seen from Minnesotans in particular is a commitment to community and civic virtue and elections based on turnout rates, and that really is inspiring. We talk all the time about how an American's vote is their superpower, that all the money that the parties spend, all the money that the wealthy people spend, it's all designed to either get your vote or prevent your vote. And so we are fully committed to make sure that everybody exercises that superpower in November and feels like not only that they can cast that vote, but that it will be received and counted and reported as they intended.
I've been watching your campaign now for 400 plus days. You've been working hard. You have a what do you call this ambulance? Is it the Democracy Rescue Rig?
It's the Democracy Rescue Rig. Yeah,
I love it. I worked for Dean Phillips back in the day, and we had our government repair truck back then. What impressed me most in your campaign so far, though, was the Sunday you got endorsed on Saturday, and on Sunday you were in St. Cloud door knocking, listening to voters. And when you gave your speech at the endorsing convention, you told the delegates that you were going to make sure that your campaign listened. What are you hearing from voters on the doors, and why was it so important to you to start door knocking the day after you got endorsed?
Yeah, I think it's important because, again, when you're running against somebody who's never in the district, I think people feel like Congress isn't listening, and our district feels like Tom Emmer isn't listening. And so we really wanted to make the point that we were going to listen. The doors we've hit so far, St. Cloud, I was in Blaine last night. Folks are concerned about the things you would expect. They're concerned about the cost of gas, the cost of housing, the cost of healthcare. They're surprisingly not talking about White House ballrooms or other issues that the White House wants us to talk about. People are concerned that they are falling behind, that they are working hard, and yet the money they make is not going far enough. They want somebody who is going to help them thrive and not just survive. And we're going to make sure we take every story we hear and pile it into the energy on the campaign trail.
That's really fantastic. We're not ready to announce the date yet, but in a couple weeks, Doug and I are actually going to be co-hosting a town hall listening session on gun violence prevention, and we're going to continue to put our candidates front and center in front of the voters so that they can create that connection. I think when we listen to people, we can build a bridge of understanding, and ultimately, when we understand their priorities, the trust starts to develop.
Yep.
And that's exactly how we get them to come our way. So I really appreciate all that you're doing. We've given people the message. What is the action you need people to do on behalf of your campaign to win?
I think right now you can do three things, right? I think number one, you can help us spread the word that there is a candidate against Tom Emmer. I like to say that if you see something, share something. And that might be on social media. That might be in line at the grocery store. If you hear somebody complaining about the government, let them know that there is a real live DFL ready to not only take on, but take down Tom Emmer. Second, if you can give of your time at all, during the Civil War, Lincoln told his generals, those not skinning can hold a leg. We're going to have a ton of legs to hold. You can knock doors, you can write postcards, you can make phone calls, you can cook food or watch the kids of people who do those things. Every little bit folks can do will help. And then finally, I'm constitutionally required to say, if you want to donate, we would love to have your financial support. We won't outraise Tom Emmer. We will outwork him. We will outorganize him. And I guarantee we'll use that money well to outsmart him because that's free.
All right. Well, the DFL will make a contribution to your campaign for sure.
Wonderful.
I encourage others to do as well. Sign up for a door knock and get out there and do everything you can to support this guy for Congress. We have to beat Tom Emmer. When we defeat Tom Emmer on November 3rd of this year, we will take back Congress, and ultimately that will be the constitutional check on this president.
Amen.
President Trump famously told the New York Times that the only check on his power is his own morality. That's not true. The U.S. Constitution, Article 1 is Congress, and we can send Doug to Congress to create that check. So Thank you for being here, and thank you for being our guest. We're going to drop Doug's website in the chat. It's chapinforcongress.com. Again, we'll drop that link in the chat. Thank you for being here. Before we sign off, lots happening this weekend. CD8 convention tomorrow morning in Chisago, CD4 in St. Paul on Sunday, and then CD1 down in Stewartville on Sunday as well. I'll be at all three of those congressional district conventions. Lots of other things happening around the state. A reminder, June 5th is our 14th annual Humphrey Mondale dinner. Less than 300 tickets left. So if you're organizing a table, please do reach out and connect with our team. Thank you for being here this week. We really appreciate your time. We've got 186 days until the November 3rd midterm election. We are building an effort, the largest effort to defeat Donald Trump electorally. Let's go win this thing. Thanks, everybody.